Okay, so I'm gonna attempt to do a self-portrait session with my Mamiya and my timer with a strobe light. I'm gonna use one strobe light and see how it goes. This is just a leftover set kind of from a shoot that I just did, so I'm just gonna try to repurpose it and take some self-portraits. Let's see how that goes. Just for reference, if you haven't seen me do any self-portraits before, I will link both of those videos down below. I'll kind of explain the process a little bit more, but I am using my little shutter releaser for the Mamiya. And yeah, I'm gonna do it that way. I'm only using one light. So I'm only using one light because I kind of want harsher shadows on the other side. And we're gonna see how it goes. Pretty excited to just try it out. Why not? I have a little bit of time, so I decided to do this and see how it comes out. Also, my outfit fly today, so you know. I really hope these come out. I hope the lighting is right. I'm using a strobe, and I put my f-stop to 16. And then my shutter speed to 250. When you use a strobe, you always want to use a shutter between 200 and 250 because that matches the speed of the shutter of the light. And I'm using f16 because my stock film is 400, and also because I don't have anybody focusing. The bigger your f-stop is, that means the more things are in focus. So even if you miss the focal point just by a dash, just because you have it on the f16 mode, it's not going to be as noticeable. So that's kind of what I'm going for, and let's see what happens. Whew, that shit hurt my abs. Now, the ideal thing would be for you to find something that's your height or maybe even in the same round as you, so you can really nail the focus. And I'm trying to figure out if I can use... Ooh, I'm going to use a broom. This is where I'm sitting. So the broom is kind of perfect. That's actually kind of basically my height. So I am actually gonna... My face is, I think, is a little bit back here. Ah! Isn't that perfect? So if I sit, boom, the broom is my face. So now I can focus really well on the broom, and that's how I'm gonna know. Now, before I set the timer, I'm gonna take the broom out because I don't want that to take away from my time preparing for my pose. Now, I want to get a detail of this jacket because I think it's really cool. It has awesome graphics on it. Shout out to my mom for getting this for me. It's awesome. I'm going to use the broom again, and I'm going to get even closer and focus on the details of the broom and then sit instead of it. Serious. Now I'm trying to think of other poses. I think I'm going to stand on top of the box, see what happens when I stand on top of it. Maybe something cool. I don't know. I don't know. Every time I take a picture, why do I pose to this camera? Like, so I am using Portrait 400. I think the other roll I had like 7 pictures or something, so I'm probably gonna shoot one more of these, maybe 2, Depends on how creative and excited I feel about this. So yeah, honestly, it's really easy, and I do get a lot of comments and questions specifically in my self-portraiture stuff, and honestly it's just a fun thing to do, especially now since it's quarantine. You might not have as much access to photographers or models or just anything really, and to not lose your touch, I think self-portraiture is a nice way to do so. In the beginning of the quarantine, I was really adamant about doing it. I'm not gonna lie, I fell off after a while, but now I find a little bit more time, and I kind of want to do these weekly, not even for YouTube, but just even for myself, to kind of keep practicing lighting, practicing my trust with myself and film, which is also something big. You have to build the trust between you and the film, and it doesn't hurt as much wasting film on yourself than you doing a whole production photo shoot and you messed up on the light, and all of that is out of the garbage. So instead of doing so, learning through taking portraits of yourself and so on, I think it's pretty cool. And also on top of that, I'm currently working on a project that involves myself, not necessarily self-portraits, but also that. So this is a nice way for me to kind of challenge myself in that way to do so. Also, don't throw these in the street, please. Put them in your pocket, put them in the garbage. Now, this timer has 15 seconds. And 15 seconds should be more than enough for you to set up, go, and take the picture. Now, I want to take a picture that is a close-up of what my shirt says. So when I sit down, I'm going to measure about where is the writing is on the broom. So when I focus on it, I want to get a very, very tight close-up. I can focus on the part of the broom that has the words on it. So when I sit there, you can see that in focus. So let's do it. Okay. So approximately in this area, that's where the words are on my shirt. So that's where I'm going to focus on. Now, an important thing to remember, I want to show you, is look at the spacing, right? So if I put this right in the corner of my frame, like so, you see that I'm actually gonna lose this whole entire chunk. So you have to be aware, right? This is around 3/4 of the box. So you kind of have to frame it in the same way. So when I look inside of here, I'm gonna frame it somewhere 3/4, because I know the broom is here, but there's a little bit of seat right there. So my body is probably gonna spill over this whole screen. So you need to be aware of the spacing and where your focal point is. It's pretty important. Now, I'm just trying. As you can see, I'm not an expert at this just yet. I'm just using the fundamentals that I've learned and I know to kind of amplify them when it comes to this, because I don't have a shooter or somebody to look through the viewfinder. You have to figure out creative ways to go about this. Good thing we learned some math and some geometry so we can kind of help ourselves out. Also, I use the rule of thirds for everything, so the lines of the rule of thirds is embedded into my mind. So every time I look at a frame, I'll look at it from a rule of thirds perspective. And honestly, that's one of the best tools in photography that ever helped me. So now I'm actually going to try to shoot a portrait. See if that comes out. have 2 more. I'm trying to think of 2 more shots I can do. Everything so far has been very straight on. So I want to maybe change the composition a little bit. I just want to let you know it's easy. Buy one of those timer things. If you have a Mamiya or any camera that has a little shutter screw on, buy one of those. I paid $12 for mine, and have fun with it. Honestly, just have fun with it, really.